Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Grab your popcorn because we're diving into a topic that's been causing some serious buzz in the K-pop world. Today, we're talking about minors in K-pop, something that used to be pretty rare but has quickly become a growing trend. So, buckle up, because this one's gonna get real, and it's got a lot of layers to unpack. Okay, so let's rewind for a second. Back in the day, it wasn't all that common to see minors debuting in K-pop groups. Most idols were older, usually in their late teens or early 20s. Take aespa, for example. When they debuted in 2020, all of their members were at least 18 years old, so none of them were technically minors. Fast forward just a couple of years, and things have drastically changed. Nowadays, it's almost normal to see groups debuting with members who are underage. I mean, look at New Jeans. They debuted in 2022, and their youngest member, Hyein, was only 14 years old at the time. Yeah, 14. That's a pretty big shift from the older idols we were used to seeing on stage. It's not just New Jeans either. This trend of younger idols is becoming more common across the K-pop industry, and it's raising some serious questions. Now, don't get me wrong, there's something exciting about seeing new, fresh faces in the K-pop scene. A 14-year-old in the spotlight definitely brings some energy and youthful vibes, right? But there's also a much darker side to this trend, and it's something that we can't just ignore. The pressures that come with being in K-pop are insane. This is a super competitive, high-stakes industry, and it's hard enough for someone who's already an adult, let alone someone who's still navigating their teenage years. Throwing minors into that mix? Well, that's where things start to get complicated. One of the most concerning issues is how these young idols are often pushed to perform in ways that might not be suitable for their age, specifically when it comes to the choreography. K-pop is known for its flashy, mature concepts, and sometimes the performances go way beyond what's appropriate for someone who's still a teenager. For example, let's talk about Baby Monster. Their youngest member, Chiquita, is just 16. In one of their performances for the song Billionaire, she was rocking one of the shortest outfits and doing some pretty suggestive dance moves. Now, I'm all for confidence and bold performances, but a lot of people felt like those moves weren't really suitable for someone so young. It doesn't stop there, though. Ayeon, who's 17, also has to perform some pretty mature choreography, including twerking and hip thrusts. And let's be real, no matter how you look at it, these moves are pushing the limits for someone still in their teens. But hey, it's not just Baby Monster. Let's talk about Lee Seraphim. Yoonchi, their youngest member, was only 15 years old when she debuted. And during one of their debut performances, there was a move that caused quite a stir. The choreography involved all the members lying on the floor and doing a sensual move, and people were shocked. Critics and fans alike questioned whether it was fair for a 15-year-old to be performing something that, frankly, felt more appropriate for someone much older. It made everyone stop and think, is it right to put a teenager in this position? Now, I know some of you might be saying, well, the audience is the problem, right? They're the ones sexualizing these performances. And look, I get it. People should be responsible for their actions and their own perceptions. But at the same time, these performances, these dance moves and outfits are pushing a very fine line. The K-pop industry is clearly playing a game with controversy. Sometimes it feels like they're deliberately pushing boundaries with young idols to stir up attention and get people talking. But here's the thing. Is that fair to the minors themselves? Let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. These young idols are under a lot of pressure, way more than we might realize. K-pop idols are expected to perform with maturity, grace, and often do choreography that's far beyond their years. It's not just about the performance itself. It's about the emotional and psychological toll it can take on someone who's still trying to figure out who they are. How much emotional strain should we expect from these idols, especially when they're still growing up? And let's not forget how vulnerable these young idols are to the media and online harassment. They might be getting bombarded with hate from netizens, and that's something that's way harder to deal with when you're just a teenager trying to find your way. The thing is, some of these agencies know that controversy equals attention, so it feels like these minors are being put in a vulnerable spot for the sake of creating buzz. And that's honestly a big problem. These kids are under so much scrutiny, so much pressure to be perfect, and that can have long-term effects on their mental health. So what are the consequences of all this? Well, these young idols, many of whom are still developing emotionally, are carrying the weight of this pressure long after the buzz dies down. These intense experiences can have lasting impacts on their mental health and their future careers. The stress of being under the spotlight at such a young age can lead to burnout, struggles with mental health, and even affect their ability to function as adults later on. And as if that wasn't enough, there's also the fact that some agencies seem more interested in the fame that comes with controversy than the well-being of their artists. They're more focused on creating drama to boost popularity than on protecting the emotional and mental health of these minors. That's not only unfair to the idols themselves, but it also brings up some serious ethical questions about the industry. So, where do we go from here? It's clear that the trend of younger idols is here to stay, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't have an open conversation about the ethical implications of it. How much should the K-pop industry be pushing young idols to perform mature concepts? Are these demands really in the best interest of the idols, or is it just about capitalizing on their youth and the buzz it generates? This conversation is important because at the end of the day, it's not just about the performances we see on stage, it's about the pressure, the expectations, and the emotional toll that these young stars are facing. So, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you think the K-pop industry is pushing too hard on young idols, or is this just the nature of the business? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives like this. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.
In the future.